Alright guys, so today we are going to be installing a level kit on this 2022 Ford Raptor. These shocks are a little bit different. So these shocks pretty much, they instead of doing a puck lift up here, they got a ring lift, which you raise this up and put the clamp underneath. That allows that strut to sit a little bit lower. This side we already got on. As you can see, we got the spacer on there. That basically moves the retaining ring up a little bit to give it that 1.5 inch extra ride height. Now I know this is not an 1.5 inch spacer. That's not a big deal. The reason being is with all the trajectory and angles and stuff, this being only 1 inch actually lowers this out here at the wheel 1.5 inches. So that explains why a lot of times when you do leveling kits and things like that, you buy, oh hey, I bought an 1.5 inch one, how come it's small? That is why you got to take into effect the trajectory and everything else and the angles and all that to where the actual wheel sits. So I'm going to go ahead and put this side back together real quick, and then once we get to the other side, I will come back and we'll do a more in-depth process of how this goes down. All right guys, so to get started here, we have the tire off. It's the only thing we've done to this side. I'm going to go ahead and get started. There's a little clip here. Get a flathead or a pry tool behind that and pop that clip out, just so when this control arm drops, or pinion arm, I can't remember what they call it, but when this arm drops, it doesn't pull the brake lines out and extra tension on the brake lines that you don't need. Then you're going to pull this 18mm off here, off the upper ball joint. You'll pull this 18mm off the sway bar, and this one I believe is a 7/8 or 21mm off the tie rod end. Once you get all three of those off, this whole piece will kind of swing out of the way and you'll have access to the shock. Now again, we're doing this without pulling these struts out of the Raptor at all. We're going to do it all in truck, knock it out. So I'm going to get that done and then I'll show you the next step. All right, now we got that all out of the way. We got full access to the strut itself. Really nice. Now we're going to take these spring clamps and hook them on. Now, I know this one isn't exactly thin enough of a spring that they kind of go all the way around, but should be all right. Let's see. I think I need new washers on these, but there we go. So I'll put one on each side. An important note on these is to make sure you space them out as far as possible so that the spring compresses evenly. So we'll go ahead and put you guys on time lapse. I'll knock this out and then we'll come back. Alright, so as you guys saw in the time lapse, I compressed the spring. With these being so far out, I was able to kind of jack these up into there and it's holding the spring up. Now you can see I got about 2 to 3 inch clearance here, which is plenty for the links that I got. So now what you're going to see is I'm going to pop this up, raise it, take the stock retainers out that look like this, and then I'll install the aftermarket one, which is the RPG. As you can see, there's kind of a small lip in here, probably better from that side. So that sits in the factory retainer clip area, and then your collar ends up dropping down onto this. You can have it with the wording out or not, doesn't really matter, as long as it's sitting on there. One thing you want to keep in mind when you put this on is to tighten these evenly so that your gap on both sides is about the same. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and install this and we'll be right back. All right guys, there you have it. It is fully installed. We're ready to start releasing the tension on these springs, basically the same way. Make sure you do a little bit here, a little bit there. You don't want to run up one side way more than the other. That puts a lot of tension on just one of the clamps. Could possibly break, causing serious injury. Make sure you're super careful. One thing I forgot to mention is back here on the collar, I don't know if you can see it, but there's this little clip that goes in here. I forgot to pull that first, and that's why you probably saw me in the time-lapse pull. It comes with new brackets to screw that down to here. Honestly, I typically just trim the sides. That's all you need to do, and it'll go right back in that same clip hole. Pretty simple. One thing, as you're loosening this, you want to make sure that boot up top matches the spring. So they're on an angle, because as you can see, like right here, spring just stops. They don't stop flat. You want to make sure that boot matches where the spring stops, so that it goes up into the cup solidly and has full contact all the way around. It's super important. If not, you'll get squeaks, rattles, all sorts of stuff out of it. But yeah, now pretty much the same process as putting that on, just in reverse, put it back together, and she'll be done. All right guys, there you go. All in all, not too difficult. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say it's probably about a 3 to a 4. I did work up a little bit of sweat, so a little bit of a sweat meter, but it's also 80-degree day here and the door's open, so that could be part of it. But yeah, that is it. We are ready to throw the tire back on. We are done. Everything's connected, rehooked, all ready to rock and roll. One thing to remember, anytime you do a lift or a level, always get your truck or vehicle alignment done afterward, because the alignments are going to be off on this. And until next time, make sure you hit that subscribe button, help us grow this channel, and we'll see you next time.